Welcome to another unboxing from theplayersaid.com. I'm Grant. Today I'm unboxing a game that just showed up and which I've had P500'd since last summer, I think around August or so. Holland 44, Operation Market Garden, September 1944 from GMT Games. This game is designed by Mark Simonich. Mark does a fantastic job. I have US Civil War from GMT. Does great maps, but he also makes very playable and deep strategic war games. So this is a game I've looked forward to for a long time. We actually did an interview with Mark last year. That interview has done very well on the blog and really gives a good insight and a lot of information about the game and how it plays. So if you don't know, Operation Market Garden was an attempt by the Allies to invade Holland and get into Germany across the Rhine prior to Christmas 1944 so that they believed the war would be over soon thereafter. Operation was in September. I think it was the 17th to the 25th. And the operation was set up in two parts. Operation Market was the airborne side, and then Operation Garden was the mechanized infantry side. Airborne troops were involved, both from America and from Britain, and they had three objectives, the three various bridges there, Arnhem, Eindhoven, and Nijmegen, and they were trying to capture those bridges intact so that they could stream troops and material across. So obviously the operation did not go well. Lots of factors, from the terrain to the rivers to stiff German resistance, and the fact that there were only a couple small roads to the area really gummed up the operation, and it was called off and failed. Still one of my favorite operations in World War II. In fact, one of my favorite World War II movies is A Bridge Too Far. Anthony Hopkins is in that, Gene Hackman, many others have always liked that movie, and we'll watch that at any time. But here's Holland 44. I P500'd this game, and it just came. I'm going to go ahead and take the shrink off, and it did have a hole in it when it shipped, which is pretty rare. Usually there's no defects at all on the shrink. But there's a look at that cover. That is fantastic. I love that Sherman tank moving up. Really cool. Great look. This is one of their 1-inch or 2-inch boxes. So it's the smaller boxes, but there's a lot packed in. Here's a look at the back. You can get a look at the game, once again designed by Mark Simonich. Lots of stuff in the box. There's a couple of map sheets. One's huge, one's big. And then there are 2 sheets of counters, some player aids, scenario card, and a rules book. Complexity is medium and solitaire suitability is high, which is good because I'm going to try, actually tonight, I'm going to try to run through the introductory example of play scenario and then maybe start one of the scenarios solo. There's a picture at the famous British 1st Parachute Regiment, or the Red Devils. You can tell that by their maroon berets. Nice little picture there. Great look at the map and some information about the game. So let's go ahead and open it up. Once again, high quality box. GMT's games are always great, but this is one of their smaller 2-inch boxes. It is both smaller and thinner, but it's still great. And one of the reasons this fits in a 2-inch box is because there is no mounted map. They are paper maps. Here's a look at the dice, a gray and a red 6-sider. Nice quality. I'm not a huge fan of the rounded corners. I feel like they should be square, but that's just a personal preference. Roll of baggies. One of my favorite parts about these GMT games is they do these little letters and they tell you who packed them. Always cool. Just kind of a nice touch from GMT. And then there are some errata. When I open it up, there are a couple of errata here. Following should be added to the scenario at start instructions. 4 of the 5 bridges along. Not going to read those. Start the game blown. Bocholt Herentals Canal, start the bridge game blown. They give you the hexes there. So interesting, but there's an errata. I'll have to find that and try to put that in the rule book where it should go. Rules of play are pretty thick. There are about 39 pages in this rule book. Some of this is reinforcement, schedules, lots of good examples of play. GMT always does a great job of showing graphic examples of play. They help you learn how to move units around and learn the various rules with the game. But this is going to take a little bit to get through and digest. It is medium complexity, so it's not overly brutal, but there is a lot of detail. Here's a look at some armor shift examples. Don't exactly know everything about that. But nice rule book, semi-gloss, great thick stock paper. Really nice. And then once again, I mentioned tonight, I'm going to try to play the expanded sequence of, the extended example of play so that I can learn all the different elements. But it actually looks like the rule book, probably somewhere between 24 and 25 pages. The rest is the example of play, setup, instructions, as well as some designer notes, which, there you go, there's some designer notes. Love the designer notes. Trying to understand why the game is made the way it's made. In fact, there's that armor shift that I said I didn't know much about. This CRT column shift represents fear more than anything. If the defender fears the approaching tanks, then that fear becomes a factor in the battle. That's really cool. Should be pretty awesome. Looking forward to that. So there's the rule book. Comes with a setup card, nicely printed, very clear, one-sided setup card. So I'll go ahead and put that down. A couple of player aids. They are identical. They're two-sided. One side has the terrain effects chart. You can see there are Polder is one of the more difficult terrains. You can see vehicle units halved, attacking into or out of. That was something very common in Holland as they were attacking. It basically is very marshy, canal-ridden area, very hard to traverse. The other side involves the CRT as well as some of the various modifiers. And then here's a couple other tables down below. Bridge demolition table, air landing table, disengagement, and determined defense. So looking forward to those. Like I said, can't wait to try and break this out. These are very small counters, but they are actually very clear. They show up well. There's a truck counter. It says moved. That's going to be used, I'm assuming, as you deal with supply. Look at those tanks. These are British units. British, American are involved. There are some Polish troops here in the bottom. And then you've got the Germans. You've got both SS and regular German troops. So those are really nice looking counters. Like the colors. Looking forward to playing this. I think those are going to look really awesome. Look at those. Look at those tanks. So anyway, 2 sheets of counters. About half of those are administrative. A lot of these are two-sided counters. Go ahead and flip those over just so you can get a look. But they're nice counters, as you would expect from GMT. And Mark Simonich always has really good counters. They come out pretty easily. I always try to be careful because I don't want to ruin. They will need to be clipped. They are not pre-rounded, but that won't be that difficult. There's a look at an infantry unit. So there's the counters. Pretty cool. And then here are the 2 maps. I'm going to move this out of the way. And I mentioned 2 maps. One is a big, it's 22 by 34, and the other is a smaller map. I'm going to try to lay this out. It's a very long map, that's for sure. Kind of long and narrow. But there you can kind of get a look at it. Lots of tables and the turn track, the weather track here in the bottom right corner. And then you can see the map as it goes north to the areas. Eindhoven is right here, so that's one of the bridges that was attacked. Let's look. That's such a nice looking map. So clear and just very, very attractive. So this is going to be a really cool game. Let me go ahead and get the smaller map out. And I don't know if the smaller map is used because the scenarios are different and they focus on the certain areas, or if this is added, it might be added to the top. And I'm just trying to, well, yeah, I mean, if you look at it, you're gonna, it's a big map. Arnhem and Nijmegen are up here. These actually don't quite fit together that well, but anyway, actually maybe it says D over there. But anyway, that's a look at the map. There's a lot of map there. You know, it kind of stretches on for days if you kind of look there. But very well done, very clear and attractive. These maps are always done very well by GMT. So that's a look at, once again, this is an operational level war game, hex encounter. Fairly long playing. This is not a game you're going to play in a couple of hours, although I do believe they have several different scenarios. And you'll be able to play through those. So pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to this. Have been waiting for this for a while. Like I said, I've had it P500'd for over a year now. But that's a look at Holland 44 from GMT Games. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like it. If you enjoy our channel and find it informative, go ahead and follow or subscribe. And we'll also do a series of write-ups on this, hopefully maybe an AAR, a couple of action points to identify and describe certain rules and highlight those, and then a full-blown review once we've played it through and have a good feel for the game. So thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.